Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine.
Good evening. Welcome to Greenlight Maine. I'm your host, Julene Gervais. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are in the back half of the season, which means things are heating up. We have our finalists, and the competition is fierce. They all own companies on the fast track here in Maine, and winning the $100,000 prize will only add to their success story. Each of our 13 finalists receives their very own mentoring show. This gives them more exposure to the Maine business community and can help them expand their companies even further. Let's kick this off by welcoming tonight's finalist, Anita Van Dam from Reproduce, and you just flew in, so how's everything going?
It's pretty good, a little bit jet lagged, but I'm really excited to be here.
Great, and what's been going on with you the last 6 months?
We've gone to different conferences to talk and to panel, and we're looking to work with the Food Shed program in Portland, Maine this upcoming spring.
Excellent, and we're looking forward to hearing more about that. So, but for the sake of our mentors who might not have seen your pitch yet, or Grace, your partners, and for you folks at home that might have missed it, we're gonna take a look back right now.
So look at the produce in front of you. They look a bit different, but they're just as healthy and delicious as the ones you normally find in the grocery stores. However, you can't find them there because they've never left the farm. This is where we come in. My name is Grace, co-founder of Reproduce, a way to access the excess. And we want to reduce food waste in Maine at the beginning of the production chain. So the demand for local food is rising, but the access to it is limited, even though there is an abundant amount of unsold local produce. This is why, by purchasing and processing farmers' surplus produce, we will give them an additional revenue stream while reducing food waste and increasing access to local food. But how will we do this? So first, we sent a survey to 60 farmers all across Maine. Those who were interested responded back and said they would sell their wholesale excess produce at 50% the original price. We also conducted consumer surveys where we talked to our target market, millennials, and we asked them about what produce they preferred and what preservation methods they also preferred. From there, we decided to freeze Maine potatoes and berries. We chose freezing because it preserves the integrity of the produce, is convenient for consumers, and also it is a simple processing method, which gives us more viability with our business. The Maine Food Strategy Consumer Survey report states that 80% of Mainers choose to buy local or Maine products, but things that get in the way are lack of access, inconvenience, and the fact that the food is not in season. Our business tackles all three of these issues. So how are we going to take our produce and turn it into our product? First, we will have collection locations. We will then bring it to Ocean Approved to process and freeze and store it at Americold before self-distributing to retailers. We've talked to several retailers already in the Portland area. All have stated extreme interest, particularly the Portland Food Co-op. They said right now their consumers are asking for Maine frozen produce, something that we can provide. So what have we done and where are we going? Since this spring, we've been in a business incubator at College of the Atlantic. We perfected our prototype and have won several business competitions already. In the next year, we plan on processing full-time at Ocean Approved and expanding the produce options and selling at the Portland Co-op, where we have verbal confirmation already. And expansion, we plan on looking into supermarkets and other retailers to help us. If we win, this money would give us enough to fund our first full year of business. With your help, we can get one step closer to reducing food waste. Thank you.
Your business partner, Grace, she did a really nice job on her pitch, and this is such a great business to recycle food.
Thank you. We've spent around a year now looking to consumers and into the farms and just kind of seeing what works best for us, and it's about time for us to start processing and bring our products to the people.
Yes, you guys are ready to get down to business for sure. So I'd like to take this moment to introduce our mentors by first name only because a good idea can come from anybody in any field of expertise. So first we have Brian, welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I love the program. I'm happy to help out.
We're happy to have you. And next up we have Tanya, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be part of helping grow the next generation of entrepreneurs here in Maine.
Perfect. And finally, Deb, welcome back.
Well, thank you for having me back. I love this idea. Can't wait to talk more about it.
Great. And we need to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to take a deep dive into reproduce, and we need your help, so please go online and post. We'll be right back.
Greenlight Maine would like to thank the Maine Department of Economic and Community Development, the Maine DECD, helping businesses and communities prosper.
Sometimes, even when you widen your view of things, it's hard to see everything that's happening behind the scenes. It's our feeling you're not always supposed to. Because when we do our part, the only thing we want you thinking about is doing yours. We're WEX, the people behind the payments, powering the possibilities.
WEX is a proud sponsor of Greenlight Maine.
Are you trying to increase sales? At Dream Local Digital, we've been helping businesses using Facebook, Google, and other online tools for over 8 years. We're experts at helping small businesses because we work with them nationwide.
Dream Local publicizes the important part of me and what I stand for and what Archers is about.
We'd love to help you grow your business as well. Give us a call today.
Are you an entrepreneur? Do you have a new business or a great new product? Greenlight Maine is now accepting submissions for Season 4. Visit our website for more information.
For almost 25 years, Maine Biz has been providing business news, information, and analysis for business owners and C-level executives in Maine. From Fort Kent to Kittery, Maine Biz serves the decision makers of Maine across multiple channels, including its flagship print digital publication, website, events, daily report, real estate insider, and weekly newsletter. Let Maine Biz help your business succeed. Inform, engage, connect.
Please join us to find vital information on our website at greenlightmaine.com and be a part of our vibrant community on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Together, we're building Maine's future, one dream at a time.
Welcome back to Greenlight Maine. We are having a mentoring session with one of our finalists, Reproduce with Anita. We have our panel here ready to go. So pretend like they're your board. They're here to help you get to the next level. So let's talk about what your biggest challenge is right now.
So the biggest challenge for us right now is looking to transitioning the team and to process and find the best efficiency with processing and the best place and the best people to work together to get our products out.
Let's start with clarifying questions with Brian.
All right, sure. Can you at least start by talking about what your team looks like now? What are some of the considerations, what hiring needs might be, and what kind of things do you need to get done by others?
So right now, there's Grace and I, and we're both co-founders of the business. What we plan to do is this spring and summer to start processing some of the produce with the farms that we have. And we're looking into processing in Saco, Maine with Ocean approved, and then selling it at the Portland Food Co-op. And we're looking whether the two of us is enough for right now, just to kind of test the products, or if we need people to come and help us. And I'm going to be working with the Food Shed program in Portland, Maine, and their part of their USDA grant is to look into light processing and freezing the products at the same place that we'll be doing, which is a great opportunity for me to go and experience and work and just kind of gain the knowledge of what would work best for the business.
Next question.
So when you think about some of the things that you need in terms of building your team, do you see those being in terms of the amalgamation of the farms and the food that you're going to be processing, or working with potential processors? Maybe you could have multiple processing locations. What are some of those specifics that you think would be helpful?
So for us, looking for produce is not as difficult. There's a lot of excess waste in Maine. For processing facilities, that's been a lot harder for us. We have the Fork Food Lab, which is based in Portland, Maine. Unfortunately, they don't have a blast freezer, which would be something that would be really useful for our business right now. And looking for processing facilities to process for us is really difficult because we're going to be focusing on excess produce, which doesn't guarantee how much produce we're going to get, what type of produce we're going to get, and if that's going to fit with different processing facilities. So it's been really difficult in that term, on those terms, yeah.
Deb.
Team building. First of all, I really respect the fact that you recognize how important it is to have a strong team to move your business forward. And having worked with a lot of startup companies, oftentimes it's not the founders who are actually the right people to move the team forward. So it's really recognizing what are your strengths and your skills, and also what can be your level of commitment, how much time, and what is your capacity to run this company. And it requires a lot of sort of self-reflection and really thinking about what am I really good at, what are we really good at, and then understanding what does the company need. And then identifying, well, we need somebody who's stronger in marketing and sales, for example, or maybe finance. But it starts with that identification and figuring out what is it that you do best and where you need to focus, and then figure out the rest of the puzzle and who you need to bring on as a team member. And you really need to start there before you identify who those people might be.
Do you have a plan in place right now for where you're going to get the excess produce from like Hannaford and places like that?
We're focusing on just on-farm waste right now, because with those things we know for sure that there's something that's really healthy and something that's perfectly good for use, but because of the aesthetics or the size, it's not being used. So I think that's like really important, because we want to emphasize on healthy food as well and make it more available for everyone. So that's where we're looking at right now.
So do you have a group of farms that are ready to go with you?
We've talked to, well, we sent surveys to around 60 farms, and now that we're also going to be working with the food shed program, they're also working with different farmers too. And there's a lot of farms within the Portland area, and that's where we're focusing on right now.
Great. Another question.
All right, yeah, sure. Jumping back at it, I'm curious, when you're looking at taking stuff from the farmers, I would typically say start small, start with maybe 1 or 2 farms, start with, if you're working with the food shed, start with them and just try one and get some cash in hand, and actually let's do a test run and see what works and what doesn't work. I guess in that sense, the biggest thing is, the biggest challenge is really figuring out who can actually freeze this stuff, right?
Yeah. So what's been really difficult for us is figuring out the scale and which process would work best. And storage as well. We have Americold, which is quite close to Fork Food Lab. But then again, how do we figure out all that transportation, which is going to be a big problem for us with the amount of funding that we have right now. We can't really afford a frozen truck to move everything around for us. So just those logistical things that we need to look into, which is a great kind of opportunity for us to work with different people and talk to more people, see what they've done and how they've been doing it. Yeah.
It sounds like the logistics could potentially be really where the price could be driven up. Right. It sounds like you have a really strong opportunity to produce that food from the farms at a very, very low cost, which would make it affordable for Mainers. But then every time you have to move and transfer and sort of change something around, you're running into another additional layer of cost added on to that. So I think focusing on some of that transportation and logistics piece, and potentially talking to some other frozen food producers. I mean, there are a large number of frozen food producers within the state. I mean, I'm thinking of some of the berry companies, some of the potato companies, larger scale, to find out how they got into that. You're not really competing with them directly, so I think there would probably be some opportunity for cooperation and conversation there. And I think maybe industry groups could help as well, provide some details in terms of the logistics.
Yeah. I would echo both of what's been said already. First of all, start small and don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to mess up and make mistakes, because that's where the learning comes from. But you want to make mistakes that don't cost you too much money, right? But so start small, and then secondly, the pricing is so important, because you have to really think about at the end of the day, how much is somebody willing to pay for that tomato, right? Even though it's healthy, it's good for me, it's the right thing to do. If it's $20, it's probably out of my budget. So you really have to factor in all of the costs that it takes from farm to table, because your competition is certainly all of the other produce out there. Although you are, it is a niche, and you know there's something again unique. Your unique selling proposition is the uniqueness of your produce, but you're also competing with all of the other expenses that your customers have. And I know you mentioned the millennials as a potential market, so you have to look at their food budget, right? And you know, every generation will be interested in this, but if you're focusing on millennials, what is their cost to live? What does that look like? So they have rent to pay, student loans to repay, for example. So what does their food budget look like, and how much are they willing to pay for this produce. And that gets back again to really understanding your costs moving forward.
Great feedback, great advice. I know this is a lot for you to process, so it's a good time to take a break and you can have some thoughts. We'll hear from you when we come back. And to learn more about other companies that have been on our show over the past 3 seasons and to find resources to start your own business, please visit our website, greenlightmaine.com. We'll be right back.
Handmade carpets for Greenlight Maine have been provided by Mougalian RUGS, area rugs from around the world.
As a leader in Maine and New England in providing integrated accounting, consulting, and tax services to clients large and small, the team at MacPage has proven to provide innovative solutions to help us better meet our clients' needs. We enjoy the people we serve and care about the work we do. The success of our business is based upon our ability to develop quality relationships, one client at a time. MacPage. Accessible, approachable, accountable.
Are you an entrepreneur? Do you have a new business or a great new product? Greenlight Maine is now accepting submissions for Season 4. Visit our website for more information.
Welcome back to Greenlight Maine. We are working with our panel of mentors on how to build reproduce from the ground up. And Anita here is going to talk to us about what your distribution needs are.
So a challenge that we're going to have with distribution is when farms need us to pick up their produce, and it's going to be quite time sensitive because our focus is going to be on berries as well. And when berries need to be picked up, we need to kind of process them right away because they blemish really easily.
So you probably need the farmers to bring them to you rather than you driving all over picking up berries from various farms, correct?
So something that we had to focus on was to really look how to not do too much work for the farmers. We want to make sure that they're not doing more work on top of everything else that they're currently doing. And our thought was to have a pickup at different farmers markets that they'll already be selling at. So then we can just go to that farmers market and pick up whatever produce that the farmers we're working with have there with that on that day.
That's a great idea.
It also sounds like at the end of the day, your competitive piece is not necessarily going to be the price. This is not necessarily going to be the cheapest option on the shelves or in the freezers for people. I think there's a really important element of storytelling that you can focus on here, whether you're hiring somebody to do your marketing internally or just working on the packaging and how that all comes together. When people are making decisions about what to buy, if the price isn't the lowest, the story may be what pushes them to say, you know what, this is worth $1 more per package because I'm supporting a local family and a local farm. So I think that's something that you could certainly think about as you're moving forward with your planning.
Yeah, definitely. And on our package, we plan to have like our backstory and also the farmer profile so people know exactly where their produce comes from.
That's great.
And you want to work closely with your retailers to ensure that when customers are walking down the aisle and picking their berries, that there's good signage and good branding for your produce so customers know immediately, oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I would add on the money side too to see if the farmers would kind of float the money that you owe them and see if the retailers, you can create some incentives to make sure that they actually push your product a little bit more.
Good point, because money is going to be an issue for you to get off the ground. So let's talk about that. What have you gotten so far?
So right now we have around $10,000 that we can work with, and we're going to be using that for the processing that we have this spring, and that's supposed to let us kind of process for around no more than 2 months. So we're definitely going to need to have some income from the products quite soon or find some kind of like angel investor to help us out.
Yeah, so maybe other places to find investment?
Why are you looking at me? I didn't bring my checkbook.
And I'm not sure if there might be USDA rural development grants that would be an opportunity as well, because I know there is a lot of interest in supporting small farmers, and I think Maine has a really strong brand equity when it comes to the quality of the products that come from the state. And so I would think that the State Department of Economic and Community Development would
Maine
certainly
Technology
be a resource.
Institute
NTI.
definitely would be a resource to check into. But you're right, this is something that the state is trying to support more agriculture, more farming. And there really is an exciting trend of people getting into farming, young people getting into farming. So I think your timing is absolutely right. It's just a matter of making it work financially and otherwise.
So some great advice from our panel so far. Let's find out who they are and what they do. Brian.
Anita, my name is Brian O'Brien. I'm an attorney down in Portland with Freddie Flaherty's Business Law Practice Group, where my colleagues and I help organizations of every kind with all regulatory and contract issues they may face.
My name is Tanya Emery. I'm the Director of Community and Economic Development for the City of Bangor, and in that role I work with businesses, both new and existing, to help them either get started or remain competitive.
And I'm Deb Newman, President and CEO of the Bangor Region Chamber of Commerce, and my background has been working with businesses across the state to hopefully help them be successful.
So you've got your lawyer for some legal advice, because you need
Money
that when
over
you're
here.
opening a business. You got your economic development folks and your chamber folks that can help you find the investment that you're going to need to get off the ground. So great panel of resources here with you today.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for this opportunity and the chance to talk to all of you.
Great. Well, so we are now in season 3 of Greenlight Maine, and this show is proving to be a tremendous platform for small businesses to showcase their companies and gain exposure around the state and beyond, to the point where some have received capital from investors along the way. Here's a look back at one of our previous contestants. Let's check out how they're doing now with Marty's Minutes.
Marty's Minutes brought to you by the Maine Venture Fund and Maine Technology Institute.
Hi, we're here at Composite Mold, reusable mold making materials in Manchester, Maine, with founder and president Stan Farrell. Stan, what's been going on since you were on Greenlight Maine?
Thank you, Marty. Thanks for being here. Quite a bit's been going on. We've been expanding our products, we've been expanding our markets, and trying to grow a company.
Give me a sense of what that's been like. I know growing a company is not easy. What are some of the things that you have been doing recently that have really been driving new growth?
We've been working on different materials. We have our new reusable mold making putty versus the composite mold. We've also been going into kits. One of the really great kits that we've had recently is our reusable eco-friendly mold making fish kit, which gives you all the parts to make your own soft bait rubbers and materials. And that's been a fantastic seller during the holiday seasons.
You were on the show, Stan, a couple years back on Greenlight Maine. Tell me what that, did that bring you some recognition or some new opportunities?
It was a great way of getting us to understand where our mission was. And it also created this sort of buzz where you have a lot of people go, oh, I saw you on television. Oh, I saw your products. What is this material? And composite mold, what is that? And you get a lot of feedback and a lot of enthusiasm that helps expand, and it also gives us a lot of credibility in terms of as seen on TV.
Well, good for you, Stan. We're so proud of you. You've done great work with this company. Give us the old Greenlight Maine high five.
Way to go.
Yeah. Good job.
Thanks, Marty.
Furniture for Greenlight Maine is provided by Thomas Mosier Furniture. Handmade American furniture since 1972.
Are you trying to increase sales? At Dream Local Digital, we've been helping businesses using Facebook, Google, and other online tools for over 8 years. We're experts at helping small businesses because we work with them nationwide.
At Horch Roofing, we pride ourselves on doing quality roofs, not social media and direct marketing. That's why we hire the professionals at Dream Local.
We'd love to help you grow your business as well. Give us a call today.
Thomas College believes in innovation. From the Harold Alfond Institute for Business Innovation and our Center for Innovation in Education to 3-year undergraduate degrees and accelerated graduate programs in business, cybersecurity, and criminology, innovation is in our DNA. Money Magazine ranks Thomas 23rd in the nation for value, and our Guaranteed Job program backs that up. Thomas College, personal, practical, guaranteed.
Thomas College is a proud sponsor of Greenlight Maine.
Are you an entrepreneur? Do you have a new business or a great new product? Greenlight Maine is now accepting submissions for Season 4. Visit our website for more information.
Sometimes, even when you widen your view of things, it's hard to see everything that's happening behind the scenes. It's our feeling you're not always supposed to. Because when we do our part, the only thing we want you thinking about is doing yours. We're WEX, the people behind the payments, powering the possibilities.
WEX is a proud sponsor of Greenlight Maine. Broadcast facilities provided by NESCOM, the New England School of Communications at Husson University.
Welcome back to Greenlight Maine for our final segment. We have had a great discussion with reproduce, and our mentors have been so very helpful. So let's get some final thoughts from you, Brian.
Final thought from me, I think that you're either going to try to look at a volume play or a margin play, and you want to start small. So in terms of getting a margin, I think that you should really look at your target market, and I think that there are some other options that are underserved needs in this area that you can maybe focus on, whether it be making juices or maybe potentially baby food. Things that it doesn't matter what the berries look like coming out because you're going to process them anyway.
I think the baby food market is a really smart one. More and more millennials, Gen Xers are looking at making their own baby food just because of the absolute no question about where the produce is coming from. And so I think that's a really great potential market. And those folks are willing to pay more for those types of products. So that's a great one to look into. I also wonder if there's opportunity for ongoing revenue streams by looking at something like a subscription box service. So that space is really blowing up.
Yeah, it is.
I know a lot of people have had really good luck there. And now that you can ship frozen foods all over the world, there are probably people all over the country and all over the world that would pay a premium for products from Maine, and having them frozen and already processed, they're not so concerned with what they look like. So that might be something worth exploring as well.
Great idea.
And I'm going to change the topic completely and ask that you and Grace really think about your partnership. I've seen time and time again people coming into business together because they have similar passion and excitement, and it's great working with each other, but things can change. One of you may have a great offer to go and do something else, and then the other person takes on the company. So sit with an attorney. Maybe you can find somebody to help you pro bono and really hash out your partnership agreement. It's really going to be important going forward, especially as you start seeking additional funding and investment.
And thinking about exit strategies in the beginning is really incredibly important. It doesn't seem timely now, but it really is more timely than ever.
Yeah. You have a final question for them?
Wow. Well, no, they've given me great advice, and I have a lot to think about now, so thank you. And I'm definitely going to think about more on the logistics, but definitely the team as well, because going forward, I want to look for the right people to join this business and to join Reproduce and to step into the product market and start selling.
Great. So key takeaways when you leave here today, what's next?
So we're definitely going to look into processing, and we're going to look into who we can work with. And for final, just look a little bit into marketing and putting ourselves out there, definitely, so the consumers know what we're doing and the story that we have behind Reproduce.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on making it to the final round. Congratulations on all you've done so far with your business, and it looks like you are on the right path. Thank you to the mentors who have been so great today for you, and you can certainly keep in touch moving forward. So great job. Okay, so that's going to do it for us tonight. We have to say goodnight. This show is so great for the state of Maine. Prize money aside, Greenlight Maine is an excellent way for small businesses to expose, promote, and expand. So we encourage you to get involved and check us out online at greenlightmaine.com and like us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We appreciate and thank you for your feedback. We'll see you right back here next week for more Greenlight Maine. Have a great night.
Greenlight Maine has been brought to you by WEX, Payments Unbound. Greenlight Maine would not be possible without the support of all of our corporate sponsors. Thank you.
Greenlight Maine has been a paid-for presentation by the Portland Media Group.